Well, it is certainly MACtion now as we have reached November, as we welcome in Mike Robinson from the Toledo Rocket Radio Network. Mike Rob, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mark.
It wasn't a Tuesday night game. It wasn't a Wednesday night game. It was a Saturday noon kick in Ypsilanti. But that game against Eastern fits the definition of MACtion with how poorly Toledo played the first three quarters and how well they played the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you know what? This was definitely MACtion in its truest form. Going all the way down to the wire where there's zero time left on the clock to get a touchdown from Eastern Michigan was not on the bingo card this week. But for the Rockets to score 22 points in the fourth quarter wasn't either. I don't know what type of team that we saw this weekend, but I like what we saw in them in the finish.
On your bingo card, do you have going for two and win or kicking the point after and going to overtime?
Oh, it might have been on the bingo card, but I don't know if I would have played that one or wanted to land there. But you know what? I'd say this. In a situation like that, if you're Eastern Michigan, you go for it right there in that time. You know, we talked about it a little bit with the overtime rules. You trust it. You had some magic to get the points there in the first place. So why not try to go out that way? And they almost had a victory.
We've seen this a couple times with this Toledo football team this year, uneven halves. It's usually good starts, not so good second halves. They flipped the script against Eastern. That's some sign of growth from this Rocket program. They were able to dig themselves out of the hole and find a way to win a game.
Yeah, you know what? In the second half, they came out the locker room poised, they're ready to go, and finding Torres in the game. He only had one reception, but that was a huge play for them to kind of get this thing sparked in the right direction. But running the football, Savon Clark had a really good game. Also Connor Waldenczak, and then also getting Jock Stewart back. They had a couple nice runs early in the game, but they did have some penalties that hindered them. They had some turnovers that also hurt them early on. So I think without those turnovers, we might have saw a team that could have got a good start, but to see them bounce back and fight back and the way the defense played in the fourth quarter was just awesome.
With the win, sixth of the year for Toledo, which means, yes, indeed, they are bowl eligible, and we can start checking out all the projections and maybe start to make travel arrangements to exotic locales like Boise or somewhere in Alabama, or maybe even just up the road in Detroit.
Hey, you know what? Bowl games are supposed to be vacations. I remember asking Coach Kendall, where did you want to go? And he just said, somewhere warm. And that year we ended up in the Bahamas. So I think that's what it's about. It's a vacation, but at the same time, it's about being able to get your team together, getting these seniors the opportunity to have some fun, and for them to get that sixth victory, locking in another bowl game, keeping them with one of the longest bowl streaks in the country is really good for Coach Kendall and his staff.
Yeah, and they get a little bit of a bonus with reaching bowl eligibility, but it's always 72 degrees on Ford Field. That's pretty warm.
Ford Field is only nice when you're going to play MAC's championship there.
Well, that road hasn't yet been detoured completely for Toledo. They need to continue to win games and maybe get some help along the ways, but you couldn't afford another loss. So they still need a lot of work to be done, but Toledo could get up to the MAC championship game in Detroit in that first week of December. So Toledo is off this week. Their next game is next week, as they're going to take on Central Michigan. Another very winnable game. Chips are towards the bottom of the MAC, but an opponent you cannot take lightly.
Yeah, everybody gives Toledo their best shot, and that's the one thing the Rockets do understand. Running the football, I think they found out a way to get it going, getting healthy this week. It'll be interesting with this long week, this little extra couple days, who comes back? How does the O-line shape up? Who's back on defense? How's Jeremiah Peters doing? Is he going to be okay? So it's a lot of things that the Rockets got to get squared away going forward, but more importantly, they cannot lose another football game, and winning this game on Saturday was so important. So that last victory, that last second victory was huge, but the next three games are even huger no matter who the team is.
Yeah, next couple of days will be a little bit odd for Toledo. They'll take a couple of those days off and then reset the internal clocks and start getting used to playing on Tuesdays. And that's where having that extra couple days off is going to help the entire program this week to get everybody aligned and get ready for these midweek games.
Yeah, and when you play in the MAC, this is just kind of what you know. It's about MACtion. You're going to play these midweek games, and these three games are very important because if you want to be seen and you think you're a player that's NFL caliber, everybody's watching the MACtion on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. So this is an opportunity for this program to showcase who they are and what they've been building towards from the beginning of the season to now.
It's not just NFL programs that are watching MACtion. It is also other group of 5 programs
Yes,
and Power 4 programs. with transfer portal, anybody could land anywhere. And don't forget, Toledo's going to be looking to add pieces as well. You're always looking to get better.
Yeah, absolutely, and to be able to put your showcase out there. Obviously, our best tight end, which is Torres, he came from Western Michigan, so there are those in conferences, so everybody get to watch each other. But more importantly, you want to get to Ford Field, so you want to win these games on Tuesday nights. But for the players, they can also understand that their abilities will be showcased at the highest level, as they will be the only teams on TV at those nights.
Rockets next take the field against the Chips. I want to thank Mike Robinson from the Toledo Rocket Radio Network for joining us. Thank you again, Mike Rob.
Thanks, Mark.